Continuing this conversation on the opioid crisis, presidential hopefuls also spoke about the issue last night during the Democratic debate. Senator Kamala Harris made headlines after she said this about pharma execs. Let's take a listen.
Are you in favor of sending those drug company executives to jail?
I am. And I will tell you, as a former prosecutor, I do think of this as being a matter of justice and accountability, because they are nothing more than some high-level dope dealers.
All right, well, here to discuss is Yahoo Finance's Adriana Belmonte. So, Adriana, I know you've been talking, or you've been writing a lot about this issue. So first want to get your reaction to what Senator Harris said last night about if she were president, she essentially would throw a lot of these opioid execs in jail.
First of all, I was just really excited that it finally came up during the debate, because it took 4 debates for the topic to be discussed when, you know, there's other things regarding healthcare that's continuously asked over and over again. And I think it's such an intricate part of the healthcare system. But yeah, it was really interesting what Kamala Harris said, and it seemed to be a common theme among a lot of the candidates to hold the pharma companies accountable. Amy Klobuchar was actually the first one to kind of bring it up and say we should tax a 2 cents per milligram tax on these companies and use that money towards helping rural areas dealing with addiction.
That would add up.
Right. So we were obviously just talking with Anjali about the lawsuits and the number in terms of fines. But I'm wondering, as you've been doing a lot of your reporting and you've been sort of taking a temperature read on this, if you are hearing or getting a sense that people actually do want to see not just, you know, these executives for these big pharma companies, but even some pharmacies or doctors going to prison or essentially paying the consequences, so to speak, for this opioid crisis?
Yes and no. I think that it's very common to blame pharma companies for it, but just the more research I've done, it seems that, you know, that's not the only thing that's going on. There needs to be other solutions as well. Andrew Yang, actually, he talked about harm reduction sites, safe consumption sites, and even decriminalizing it. And that's another alternative that's like being talked about more and more in these circles, about how people are still going to be using the drugs. At least they could be using it in a safe manner. So I just thought that was a really interesting alternative, and kind of giving a voice to other minorities, like minority opinions, I should say.
Any of the frontrunners, do they have any viable solutions to this opioid crisis at all? Do they have any positions that you think are actually legit?
One thing to say, put people in prison.
Right.
How will you actually stop this crisis, which is hurting Americans and killing people?
So a few of the candidates have released specific opioid plans. I took a look at Elizabeth Warren's when she released it months ago. There was a few other candidates as well, but from the experts that I talked to, hers got the most positive feedback because, again, it talked about harm reduction alternatives, just money going towards the right places. So hers seems to be the best. She didn't really get to talk about it, though. I don't think she got a chance to speak on that question during the debate. So that would have been interesting if she could have talked more.
So I don't know if this necessarily has an answer, so I'm just going to throw it out to all of you guys. But I'm wondering, as we talk a lot about alternative pain management, we've talked a lot about CBD, we've talked obviously a lot about marijuana. We have a lot of these cannabis companies, you know, exploding right now. If we're going to start to see a hard pivot away from opioids, I don't think they're going to go away completely. But if we're going to start really seeing a lot of these pharma companies really pushing out other drugs so that they don't have to keep pushing out
and
these
it starts
opioids
with not
anymore.
prescribing those anymore when someone needs painkillers or some kind of pain relief.
The problem is, though, it takes away from the people who have chronic pain, who genuinely need it. So it's going to be, that's going to be a hot button issue, I think, coming up.
Alrighty, thanks, Adriana.
Thank you.
Good stuff. We'll get an update soon on the opioid crisis and the campaign.
Hey investors, Zach Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.